Welcome to Sunday Night Slop, because that's what this game was. It was 4 quarters of a defensive battle, 22-6, Falcons to Vikings. I think there was only one touchdown in the whole game. This was a crazy game, and it was pretty much anchored by Bijan Robinson and a phenomenal performance by this new look Falcons defense. I mean, I think they might have hit on every single one of these picks that they've had. Like they had in the first like 3 rounds. Like they've gotten a steal everywhere. I mean, it's from Jalen Walker had a play today. James Pierce had a play today. Let's actually look at the stats real quick. Defensive. You had their picks from last year. Brendan Dorless had a sack. Oh no, he had a sack and a half. Billy Bowman had an interception, had 2 pass breakups and an interception. You had Jalen Walker with a sack and a solo tackle. You had Xavier Watts had an interception to end the game and a pass breakup. And then you had James Pierce who had a half sack as well. This team and Rook Aurora with the half sack. This team is like they're building this foundation for a young defensive core that they have needed for years. I mean, years, and they're finally doing it. It makes sense with Raheem Morris that they would be doing it, and they just dominated this entire game. There's not really much to talk about in this game. I mean, other than possibly JJ McCarthy has struggled through the first 2 games. He's looked like in over his head. He's not looked great, but to be fair, the Vikings are missing a starting left tackle in Darrisaw. They're also missing. What else were they missing? They're missing a few good players. They're missing their left tackle. They're missing their starting center, and they're missing their wide receiver too in Jordan Addison. So and Addison and Darrisaw alone is going to add more to this offense. But that's when we're going to really get to see like what JJ McCarthy is in this offense. But the proof is in the pudding for that team, at least in what they can get JJ McCarthy to be, and we saw it at the end of the last game against the Bears. But we'll see if they can really bring it out of him. But this was just an overall defensive battle, and the Falcons were really, really good in this. What I'm excited to see what the Falcons defense can be going forward, because it's really young and they got a lot to learn and a lot to get better at, but it just feels like a bunch of dogs, man. I mean, these are all players too that I loved coming out of college. I really liked James Pierce. I loved Xavier Watts. I wanted the Eagles to draft him, but they went with Makuba, which he looks like he's turning out to be great as well. But Xavier Watts has been incredible for them. He had a few pass breakups last week against the Buccaneers, and he made some plays in this game. He looks really great. They were just flying to the ball. The ball was finding all of them, truly. Like, it was finding all of them to the point where Billy Bowman I think he almost ended up with 2 interceptions, because there was one interception that hit the ground, and there was another one that he kind of picked up and never actually hit the ground with it. It's just, they just look like a team that's really well coached on the defensive end and ready to, like, legitimately become, like, a serious threat defensively. And they're not going to be a team that you can score a lot of points on. And that's how he's building this team. But I do think that the Falcons offense does need to start to kind of come along with them and kind of figure it out. I mean, right now on offense, all they really have is Bijan, which Bijan, I mean, look at this stat line over here. 22 carries for 143 yards, 6.5 yards per carry. He didn't have any touchdowns, but, I mean, that's a crazy stat line. And then you got Tyler Algier, who had 16 for 76 and 1 touchdown. He's been great. Michael Penix Jr. was decently efficient today. Let me see. I want to see the full 50. Oh no, 61.9. Still like to see that completion percentage go up, but he needs to. He was decent, and they didn't throw the ball a ton, and they just leaned on that run, leaned on that defense, and I just thought the team looked really good. They just looked comfortable with what each side of the ball was doing. But their defense is legit. It's a very serious defense, and as far as offense, they need to figure out what they're doing as far as who they're throwing to, who's receiving. I mean, Drake London was solid today. Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts. I mean, we're kind of done expecting him to kind of put it together and figure it out. But also, to be fair, the Vikings had a pretty good defensive performance as well. You had Jalen Redmond really showed up. He had two plays there. You had Joshua Metellus had a pass breakup. They were just really they had a solid game altogether. But again, I think the Falcons' offense is still trying to catch up with the defense. But I think the defense is already there and ready to go. The question is Michael Penix the guy still? We're still trying to figure it out. I feel like as Falcon fans and also people, just us NFL fans. Like, is Michael Penix the guy there in Atlanta? I think he's solid. Like he could throw the ball, but he still hasn't had this like the signature win or this like signature moment that we can all call back upon and go, yeah, this guy's legit. This guy's like a legit player in the league. And then, like we said with JJ McCarthy, he's struggling. 11 for 21. He had a 52.4 completion percentage, which is horrible. That's horrible. Very inaccurate. Very just horrible. 158 yards, 7.5 yards per attempt, and two interceptions. And to be honest with you, he threw about like four, but a lot of them got called back, or they just were turnover worthy plays. His rating alone is 37.5, is just horrible. Like, he played really bad, and he just looks really above his skis. But we'll see, like, if he can progress, if he can get better. I do think that year of him not playing really hurt him. But I do think I still like this combination of him and Kevin O'Connell. I think if anyone can figure it out, it is going to be Kevin O'Connell. And if you can't figure it out with Kevin O'Connell as a quarterback, then that might say more about you than it does about Kevin O'Connell, of course. But we'll see with him. I like him. I think he's good, but he's got to grow. He's got to get better. But the real story of this game is it was the Falcons defense. This Falcons defense was great, and we'll just see where they go from here. But, it's not really much else to talk about in this game. Just Falcons defense showed up. Falcons defense became basically announced themselves. And we'll see if they're going to continue to be great. Yeah, that's about it. Go Birds forever.